Today I'm going to be checking out this lithium iron phosphate battery charger that I was sent at no cost so I could do this review. This one is specifically meant for lithium iron phosphate batteries. It is a 25 amp battery charger. It looks pretty heavy duty. Let me get this thing out of the box so I can show you everything that it comes with, and then we're going to hook it up, test it out. All right, so this is everything that was in the box. You've got the battery charger, of course, itself. It's got some really nice hardy cables on this, so that's pretty nice. That makes me believe that, you know, it was built pretty high quality. It's got the power plug side. It's got this Anderson style connector, so that way you can attach this to the battery or your battery bank. You can even mount these with a little screw somewhere, and then when you need to charge them, you can just plug in this side of the Anderson connector and get it going. Or you can leave it permanently connected if you want, because it does have these little mounting areas here where you can mount this. It does feel like it is a coated aluminum casing, and it has a fan right here built on top with these, you know, heat fins right here to dissipate the heat. Pretty heavy duty looking unit. Pretty impressive. I like that. It does come with these two manuals. This manual right here is going to give you some more specifics about the charging. So there is, let me see where it's at. On here, this little light right here that has LEDs in it that will shine differently based upon the status of the charge. And that is explained right here in this little manual about, you know, 100% fully charged or not. And then, you know, if it's got 80%. This one has the 3-layer or the pie chart looking one here on this battery charger. So it looks like it shows you when it's below 80%, at 80%, and then at 100%. So and that's what these lights here, below 80%, equal to or at 80%, and then once it's fully charged at 100%. So that's a nice little charge there. It does say it's got a maximum efficiency of equal to or greater than 90%. So that's pretty good. When you start getting into the nicer model chargers, you're going to start seeing something like that. Some of the cheaper ones I have are maybe like 75%, you know, efficient, which means you're basically wasting power trying to convert it. But 90% is pretty good. And then of course it has this other manual that is multiple languages, but the first part of it just kind of tells you its charging modes and, you know, how to hook up the connectors. So they do have two types of this charger. One that comes with a set of alligator clips that is meant to be more of a temporary, you just hook the alligator clips up to your batteries, charge it, and be on your way. Or the style like this one that has the Anderson plugs, which is kind of denoted here. That is more of a permanently set up, kind of install type of setup, and then you can just plug it in if you want this to be portable, or you can just mount this whole thing and be ready to go all the time. So enough about the manual and everything. I'm going to get this thing hooked up to a lithium iron phosphate battery, and we're going to start getting it charged. Now this is specifically meant for lithium iron phosphate batteries. I would not be using this with like lead acid or AGM batteries or anything like that because of the type of charging cycles and the voltage it uses. This is specifically lithium iron phosphate. All right, so I've got this lithium iron phosphate battery here. This is a 12.8 volt, 100 amp hour battery, and I did hook up the end connector to this. This is the part that you would keep hooked up to your batteries. This is the Anderson connector here, and then this negative and positive is in there. These connectors here fit perfect on a regular 100 amp hour battery type of lugs, the bolts that are in there. And one of the things I want to note is this doesn't have an on and off switch. So it's plugged in, it's working, unplugged, it's not. So it knows when to stop charging your batteries and everything because it does have multiple cycles. All of that's good. You shouldn't have a problem with overcharging, but as long as it's plugged in, it's on. So just know that, no on and off switch. To hook it up, again, these are the Anderson style connectors. I love these type of connectors. I use them quite a bit when I'm doing electrical like this, but it has this little pull switch thing here. So you just line these up and plug them in. That's it. So they connect really well, these type of connectors. That's why they're so popular. And as soon as you get it hooked up, fan comes on, it's charging. Let's see, the LED light, there you go. So the red blinking means it's under 80%. It should turn to yellow once it hits 80%. And then once it's 100%, it should turn green. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Let it get 100%. It's quiet. I mean, you can hear it, but I have a 20 amp charger that I use to charge a lot of my batteries that's just a regular hookup charger, and it's way louder than this, and it's not even as efficient as this. So for a good efficient charger, that's pretty quiet. I mean, this is something that if you install it in your RV or somewhere in a room, let's say your battery bank room or something, once you close the door, you're not going to hear that. Now, my other cheaper battery charger, I can close 5 doors and still hear that thing. So very nice, and it's pushing 25 amps. Also, I want to point out here on the side, it's got all the specs and everything here. So the model here is XYM 600W. It shows input voltage 110 volts, input current up to 7 amps, full load efficiency equal to or greater than 90%, output voltage 14.6. So that's the voltage it's going to be pushing, and that's why it's specifically for lithium iron phosphate batteries, because it's pushing at the optimal voltage for a lithium iron phosphate battery to be charged. And then output current 25 amps. Very nice charger. I'm going to let this thing run. Another thing I'll note, it says right here that there is no load or charger protection. Red and green lights will flash alternately if there's a trip on the voltage. So you would just probably unplug it, plug it back in, and that's probably an automatic trip. But this one doesn't have your standard little push-in breaker on it anywhere that I've seen. So it must have an automatic trip on the inside. All right, so just to get a real basic idea of what's going in through this charger here, I hooked up this little inline solar, power meter that I have, and it's showing that it is pushing 24.86 amps at 13.25 volts right now. Now, it is a pretty low battery. The battery was probably at like 20%. So it's going to be probably doing this 13.25 volts for some time period. That's a bulk charge. And then it will start kicking it up to a higher voltage to do the top off. But it is pushing exactly 25 amps, really 24.97 amps. So it's maxing out the bulk power right now, and pretty steady. Now I'm touching this. As you can see, I was resting my hand on this. It's not hot. I mean, it's really barely warm. And I'm assuming the fan does a pretty good job with these fins, keeping it nice and cool. But it doesn't get hot at all, so you don't really seem to have an issue with this thing being really hot, even when it's pushing out, its max ampage. So I'm going to let this keep going until it's done. We'll see, what it looks like when this thing's fully charged. All right, so the battery charger is showing a solid green light down here, which means the battery charger is saying this battery is fully charged. So with this voltmeter or multimeter, it is resting at 13.62. So yeah, I would say that's a good resting voltage, 13.62. Once it charges it all the way up, it's going to stop pushing power to the battery so it doesn't overcharge the battery. So yeah, I definitely think that this is a great charger. I love the fact that it's not really noisy at all. You really don't hear it very much in the background. I like the fact that you can go ahead and put this on your battery or your bus bars and have it all set up, and then you just plug in this Anderson connection to get it, ready to go, charging. When you're done, you just pull it out. So a very nice charger setup right here. I'm definitely going to be using this to charge a lot of my batteries, especially since it's quiet. So I don't, like I said, care for the noisy one that I have now. I use it, it works, but it's very noisy. This one is very quiet. Seems to be pretty efficient and just real easy to use. So anyways, I really do like this. And if it's something that you're interested in, I'll have a link down in the description of the video so you can check it out. But this is going to be my new 12-volt charger. I hope this information was helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.